Hi, I'm Brien Lundin, and I am doing our backstage interview for the Metals Investor Forum with Michael Rowley of GroupTen Metals, and he conveniently has the background there, so I can tell you the symbol is PGE on the Venture Exchange and PGE-ZF on over the counter. And Michael, the GroupTen is very exciting to kind of summarize things. You're basically bringing South Africa into the middle of Montana, right?
That's exactly right. We're systematically going after that Platte Reef style mineralization in the lower Stillwater complex.
And platinum group metals, PGEs, which before we had all of this COVID crisis and the big surge in gold and silver, they were kind of the sexy story in the metals, and a tremendous uptrend in palladium in particular, platinum going along for the ride. I see personally these trends going on for at least the next couple of years, and that's why I've been trying to get more of these platinum group exploration and development plays into our gold newsletter portfolio, and recently added GroupTen for a number of reasons. One of which is you have a number of targets each of which is multi-kilometer in scale. It's just a tremendous land position, and it, as you say, it seems to be a repeat of that kind of Platte Reef deposits that are just legendary in history for going on for kilometers, but with a bit of a different spin. I won't steal any more of your thunder. Please tell us what you've got here.
That's a really good summary, and we're very glad for the recommendation. You do great work. Yeah, we consolidated the lower Stillwater complex 2017, as you know, and we happened to have the right team to advance it. We quickly saw the Platte Reef potential there in the database. By that, we mean big systems, big sulfide disseminated systems. Platte Reef is some of the most valuable real estate in all of mining. These deposits are tens, hundreds of millions of ounces PGE, billions of pounds, tens of billions of pounds, copper, nickel. At Stillwater, we also see cobalt mixed in there as well, which is something they don't have in the Bushveld. In South Africa, the north limb of the Bushveld, known as the Platte Reef, of course, Anglo's Mahalaquena mine is the producing mine there, 265 million ounces, 4 or 5 pits, I believe, at present. Ivanhoe right next door to that, now in construction of their Platte Reef project, which is an underground bulk mechanized mining system. Spectacular grades, I believe 112 million ounces there. And then the Waterberg project of platinum group metals just to the north end of that Platte Reef, 26 million ounces. So that's the target there at Stillwater. And starting in 2017, building the team and the claim position and the database through 2018, we drilled it in 2019 and got our proof of concept. Of course, it was there already in the historic core that we have, and we're now adding that up to table our first resources on the project. So exciting time for us, and we look forward to bigger things in 2020 as we continue to move that forward.
Well, I'd like to highlight a problem that GroupTen has, and that's the fact that you have so many targets in such a large land position that you have to prioritize. I mean, it's kind of problem that a junior company loves to have. But how is that going? Now, you say you're moving toward a resource. You have some, I believe, historic core as well, and new drilling. Do you have any kind of a timeline in line for that? I mean, how much more drilling do you need to do to show the market a resource? I know we can't get ahead of it as far as size or anything, but do you feel like it's going to be the kind of a resource that's going to get the market's attention?
Definitely, yeah. As to how we approach it and prioritize, we have those 5 mineralized zones that we talked about in your excellent forum last week. 3 of those are the priority: Chrome, Camp, and Iron Mountain. And those are the 3 we're working. In terms of timing, this year. In fact, even with some contingency this year. Regarding drilling, more is always better. And in this case, more would likely result in bigger, because there are untested conductive highs adjoining these areas of past work. However, we'll focus on debuting these, revaluing the company around that, and then get on to expanding them in subsequent programs. We have enough drilling to deliver that this year. However, we are, of course, permitted and interested in drilling this year as well, in addition to that. So regarding the number of targets, the systematic approach is paying off in terms of prioritizing, and the work with Goldspot as well. Goldspot Discoveries, of course, doing good work, especially on the earlier stage targets.
Yeah, and they're using artificial intelligence to take data, and you do have a lot of data on these projects to winnow their way through all of that data and find those hidden gems. And you are actually getting some success out of that. Good results.
Yes, very interested in the targets that they've turned up, and it's done a lot to focus the effort and refine targets, especially in those earlier stages. Also at the more advanced areas. Their work so far is largely agreeing with our proposals in the more advanced areas, but I think in particular in the early stages, earlier targets.
Now, I was really impressed with your drill results in the length of the intersections above, say, 1 gram per ton PGE equivalent. And so tell us a little bit about the orientation of some of those very long intersections, how it may differ with some of the typical or some of the mineralization or demineralization in geology of your neighbor to the north, and whether that orientation of the mineralization will be more akin or more appropriate for open pit or underground, or perhaps some combination of both, and if it's too early to even think about that.
It's mostly too early to say. At this point, we're basically looking for value. Obviously, build, prove up what we think is there, and then move it forward from that. Our results, as you'll see at our presentations, are careful to do basically a virtual mining exercise to use a 0.5 gram cutoff, for example, for a bulk mining scenario, and then also apply a 1.5 gram cutoff in a virtual mining scenario on those intervals that we're presenting. And we do that to look at both mining possibilities, right, going forward. I think the Ivanhoe model of underground mechanized mining makes a lot of sense, but it is really too early to say. We do also have the higher grade reef type targets. We haven't talked about those as much. They tend to be in the upper part of our main claim block on the north side. And then, of course, the Picket Pin, which is above the JM Reef and Sibanye in the layered stratigraphy, as you've seen in our pictures. In terms of the orientation of the mineralization, one of the great things about being in Stillwater is that the whole layered system has been tipped up to 60 degrees or so on average across that 40 kilometer of exposed Stillwater system. In the Bushveld, it's still flat-lying. So Ivanhoe is having to go down 1 kilometer to access this 27 meter wide mineralized body. For us, it starts at surface. And we're reporting our drill results as true widths because it's just this great wadge of mineralization. And there's lots of mineralization there. Our job is to identify those tens of meters, hundreds of meters thick portions at higher grade. And we're really just starting to do that now from within that more broadly mineralized 25 kilometer strike that we've got.
So I think we've clearly shown people that there's tremendous upside potential here. My view on the PGMs is that the big major producers are very bullish on the metal, very bullish on the future. They have obviously some sovereign risk in where they're operating right now, and are looking to diversify that aspect. You can't find, I would think, a better place than North America, especially in their view. But I think they're going to be very aggressive in the M&A aspect and trying to find resources over the next couple of years, and that there's a 2 to 3 year window of opportunity for these juniors to get out there, get their attention, and prove up resources. Do you feel that over that time frame, you're going to be able to do just that, prove resources, show the potential, leave a little mystery, and make yourself a very enticing target?
That's exactly it. We've already had proposals. They've been deal structures that aren't our first choice, so we chose to raise money and drill ourselves. The door is definitely still open. Those conversations are still underway. And we're happy to have added a couple more to that list more recently. yes, the South Africans are definitely interested in diversifying. We saw Sibanye buy Stillwater for 2.2 billion in 2017, and then Impala Platinum buys North American Palladium for $1 billion just last year. So the interest is there and it's real. In addition to other more global miners as well. So yeah, in the time frame you mentioned, that's our thinking as well. We see lots of value that we can add to this this year and next year. We'll do the right deal at the right time.
Well, with that in mind, I'm excited to have GroupTen in our gold newsletter portfolio. That's what we're looking for over the next couple of years. And I'm also excited that you've got a news flow more immediately. And so investors, new investors and current shareholders should look out for that news flow in the coming weeks and months. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here, and keep up the good work. We'll be watching it closely.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks all.